The appearance of Madsen's face, upside down, flecked with dried blood clinging like rust to his forehead and cheeks, galvanized Perry into action. As his clammy hands grabbed for her through the shattered window, Perry sprang away, half rolling and half crawling across the room. She kept going, a bundle of frantic movement, until she collided with one of the uprights of the fireplace. She watched in horror as Madsen levered himself through the remains of the window. His head and shoulders were inside the room now as he fed himself through, negotiating the mass of tangled leading that clung like a fisherman's net to the window. As she stood upright, Perry's shoulder connected with the mantel shelf. Something fell to the floor, landing at her feet with a thud. The lid sprang off on impact. Madsen was getting up now, was starting towards Perry. The box at her feet, the lid off, the flare pistol inside. Perry grabbed the pistol as she ran for the door. She had no idea if it was loaded. She had no idea how it worked. She had no idea if she could or would use it. Behind her, Madsen's footsteps were heavy on the bare boards of the floor. He was close behind her, reaching out, leaning towards her. The lamplight washed round his image so that he shimmered, almost unreal. When she brought the flare pistol up, that was unreal too. As unreal as the pressure of her finger on the trigger, as the click of the hammer, as the whoosh as the gun fired, as the shoving jolt of the recoil. The flare hit Madsen full in the chest from just feet away, hurling him across the room in a staggering, stumbling backward run. Then abruptly, his whole torso erupted into a red fireball that burned into Perry's retina. She closed her eyes tight as she turned away, but she could see the imprint of the last image, could still see Madsen's flailing body engulfed by the waves of fire. The astonishment and horror were also burned into Liz Trefoil's eyes. She was waiting behind the door as Perry pulled the bolt and swung it open. Perry dragged the young woman into the room, hurling Liz across the floor towards the pool of fire. She didn't stop to see how far Liz traveled before regaining her balance. Perry was out of the door in an instant. The door into the bar was locked or bolted. Perry guessed that the back door of the pub would be barred too. They had been taking no chances on her escaping. That left only one route, up the stairs. She raced back, just as Liz emerged from the smoke. Liz grabbed at Perry as she ran past, but Perry pulled free and ran up the stairs, two at a time. Behind her, Liz Trefoil began to follow, with slow, deliberate steps. At the top of the stairs, there was a landing with doors off it. Perry had run past her own room and the doctor's, fearing that Liz Trefoil was close behind her. She had no idea which of the rooms ahead of her could be locked, or which had windows that would open sufficiently for her to get out. As she heard the steady tread on the bare boards behind her, Perry saw the hatch in the ceiling. Grabbing the handle, a steel ladder swung down as the hatch opened, clattering as it extended to the floor. In a moment, Perry was climbing, 2 steps at a time, not daring to look back, hearing a cry of anger from Liz Trefoil. She dragged the hatch shut and looked round for something to jam it. It was light. Not very light, but a dusty, grimy moonlight filtered into the attic from somewhere. It was enough for Perry to make out the broken handle of a broom nearby and ram it through the ladder and hatch mechanism in the hope that it would prevent Liz from opening the hatch from outside. There were clusters of shadows and dark recesses to the attic area, and at the far end, allowing the hint of moonlight to creep in, was a window. Feeling with her feet for the rafters, Perry made her way slowly towards it. There was a creaking and straining from the hatch behind her as the broom handle struggled to hold its own against Liz's efforts to open it. As she stepped cautiously across the boards, Perry fancied she could see tens, hundreds even, of seagulls perched on the roof supports and beams. And as their eyes blinked and stared in the grimy vestiges of light, she saw that they were watching her. Every one of them. A rustle of wing feathers in the gloom, then a sudden rush. Perry was running now, trying to measure her frantic steps to hit the wooden struts and not plunge through the ceiling of the floor below. The sharp feathers were at her face, flapping in her hair, then claws and beaks. Screeches of anger cutting through her screams as she ran, pushing her way desperately through the tangle of birds. Staggered, stumbled, slipped, fell forwards heavily, connected with feather, claw, beak, warmth. Then an all-embracing shattering of the glass as she plunged headfirst through the window. A shower of glass, feathers and squawks accompanied her as she plummeted downwards. Then nothing at all.